Today we are talking with Jack from the Acacia Strain. And Jack, thanks for being on the Sludge Factory. Where are you checking in from today?
We are in Spartanburg, South Carolina today. Checking in for day 6 of the To Catch a Predator. Day 7, sorry. Day 7. 1 weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I just heard that about the tour within the last week. I heard it's going great. How do you think about it so far?
Oh, we're having a blast. I mean, the other bands are great on it. It's a great lineup, and all the shows have been incredible. So we're definitely having a really good time.
And how many dates is this tour?
It's about 3 weeks total. The last show is in November 20th, back in our hometown. So it's just a short run, but it's nice. We're 1/3 of the way through as of today.
And why don't you talk about some of the bands that have been supporting you? Are you fans of them? Or who are the bands?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got Terror, the Red Chord, Gaza, and the Contortionist.
Cool.
And I didn't know much about the Contortionist prior to this, but those guys are awesome, really talented, and really nice guys. And Gaza we played with before. They're fucking awesome. The Red Chord is from, the same state as us, so we've known them for a while now. And as with Terror, we just got back from Europe with Terror about 2 weeks ago. And so we're good friends with them, so it's basically just hanging out with our friends all the time,
Yeah, that's got to be a great experience when you guys can kind of go to work, but also kind of hang out as friends at the same time.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And you guys also, there's a new album coming out from your band, Wormwood. Is that out already?
Yeah, that came out in, July?
Okay.
July 20th it came out.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've actually I've been listening to your last album, Continent, and I've been playing that for a couple of off and on now for a couple of years. So I've been still focused on that album. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the new album? What how did it come together? Where did you guys record it?
We recorded with Zeus at Planet Z Studios. Again, we did that with Continent as well, and it was just a really great recording experience. I mean, it was really relaxed and laid back, and we got to know how each other, we work and stuff like that. So it was like a lot smoother this time working with Zeus. Not saying that it wasn't last time, but we really knew our workflows and stuff like that. So it was that was definitely a good experience. And I don't know, we took a big chunk of time off from writing or for writing rather. And didn't tour or anything like that, and just really concentrated and tried to make good songs with structure and still catchy and stuff like that, and just striving to make something even heavier than the last record, and we're really proud of it. So,
is this your best album to date?
Yeah, it's like the record that we've always wanted to make. So
cool.
We're very, very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you hear bands so often, say that they work so hard to kind of capture that sound that they've always kind of heard in their head. But usually, you find it takes them, maybe 3-4 albums to kind of get into it. Has it been kind of would you say like a long struggle for you guys, or are you guys just kind of getting into your own now? Because you have, you have been around since early 2002.
Band started in 2000.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's not in terms of us coming into ourselves now. It's just, we've grown up as people more, so we wrote a more grown-up record. I mean, every album that we come out with, captured us in that time period quite well. But now it's, a couple years later, so we're gonna, come out with something a little different,
Sure, understood.
So it's, constantly changing rather than trying to get to a certain point.
Are you guys pulling influences from anywhere? I mean, is there any specific, maybe type of scene or any other external influences that you guys kind of try to incorporate into your sound?
Actually, we specifically didn't listen to anything heavy or anything new that was heavy coming out during the writing process of this, just so we could keep as much of that out of the way as possible and really work with, whatever came naturally, rather than trying to have like a heavily influenced record. But I mean, there obviously are influences for the band. So
can you talk about those a little bit? Maybe, who were some of the bands that you guys listened to when you were first getting together as this group now?
Was definitely heavily influenced by Blood Has Been Shed, Meshuggah, just a lot of heavy stuff like that. Hatebreed is obviously legendary. So, I don't know, man. That kind of stuff. But in terms of like our personal taste, and it's we all love those bands, obviously, but at this point, it's like we're around metal and stuff so much that we don't regularly listen to that stuff.
Sure.
On a day-to-day basis.
Sure. Now, you were saying earlier to me that you don't really listen to much metal at all. What kind of music do you listen to, and maybe why do you kind of make that choice, not to listen to it? Is it because of the influences? You kind of just want to focus on what your band is doing and what you're all about?
That, and it's just we're around it all the time. We're constantly writing it and playing it and listening to it at shows all night. The last thing I want to hear when I'm just on my own listening to something is somebody screaming at me again, I like a lot of really chill stuff. Like, I drove from North Carolina today, and I listened to, it's new, Strokes record,
okay,
Band of Horses, Fire Theft, and the Beatles, Let It Be.
You can't go wrong with any of that kind of stuff.
Right, so, I don't know, I like a lot of instrumental stuff, ambient things, like Illuvium, Cigar Rose is one of my favorite bands, This Will Destroy You, just chill stuff like that, that's not necessarily not heavy, but not like metal that we're used to being around all the time.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned bands like the Red Chord earlier. There kind of seems to be like this death metal revival going on with newer bands, but there's
right.
also this you can definitely pick up on the other influences that some of these kids have had growing up. They're kind of incorporating the old school with the new school, and I think it creates for some exciting music. First of all, how do you feel about the label deathcore in general as it applies to your band, and what do you think about?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, what do you think about this kind of revival that's going around and this kind of new wave of death metal that we're experiencing right now?
It's interesting. It's, I think, a good thing, but also at the same time, a lot of the kids that are listening to it don't know the history of it and understand about the original death metals, like 20, 30 years ago, and they just hear, newer bands doing it, and, kind of like how Lady Gaga's the new Madonna.
Sure.
It's just this generation's version of it. Yes, it's a good thing because obviously more and more people are getting into metal and stuff like that, but I don't know, you gotta know your roots.
Sure.
And in terms of the deathcore thing, Tim's giving me the middle finger right now. We don't like that at all, because I think it's ridiculous. There's no need to break down genres that much. Like, it's just ridiculous at a point, where you're just getting so specific that it becomes a parody of itself, at a certain point. It's just, it's too much, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that metal, more than any other genre of music, really likes to, compartmentalize, and really break down the genres when it's all, it's all really music,
Right.
And I think, and by the way, I mean, I'm a big fan of, almost all types of metal, and I'm always interested in hearing that, next generation of sound, because I truly believe that, nobody can play the same music forever. You have to build from influences. You kind of have to eventually.
And that's what's exciting about the whole thing is wondering or, waiting to find out what the next big thing is going to be or sound like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I think we're kind of in an exciting time because, those bands and that sound that you mentioned that was maybe popular 20 or 30 years ago is just kind of coming full circle, and it's now being reborn again with kids who are maybe just rediscovering it, and I think that's kind of a good
Right.
thing. I can listen to a band like the Red Chord or maybe Whitechapel, and I can maybe hear some of their influences from past death metal bands, and that makes me want to go back and check those bands out again, or maybe for the first time.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a good thing because it's opening a lot of people's eyes to the genre itself.
Cool. Now, how do you guys? What's the fan reaction been to the tour and to the new album?
It's been great so far. A lot of positive feedback. Like I said, the shows on this tour have been incredible, and a lot of kids seem to like the record. So we're, really, I mean, we were happy with it either way. Like, if people hated it, then that's, too bad. But it's, been great to get positive feedback on it because we, made what we wanted to make, and to have other people enjoy that as much as we do, and that's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen your band play live, but I have, been able to check you guys out on the internet, and definitely a great, brutal performance. You guys are certainly a great live band. I've seen, your singer, Vincent. It looks like he likes to have fun with the crowd, especially in some of the interviews that he does. I mean, it seems like you guys really, not only do you guys kind of appreciate what the fans give to you, but you guys kind of act like fans yourself. You know what I mean? You guys are just a bunch of normal dudes just playing music, and
yeah, we're having fun with it. I mean, there's no difference between us and anybody else that comes to the show to see us. That's there's no reason for there to be one. So that's why, I mean, we have, like, last night there was like 30 or 40 people on stage hanging out, headbanging while we were playing, and we try to involve everybody and have as much fun as possible because that's what it's really all about.
Excellent. And kind of expanding on that topic a little bit, the metal fans have always been notoriously the most hardcore, the most loyal, the just insane at the live shows. What do you think it means to be a heavy metal fan? And why do the fans, get into it as, more so than any other genre?
I mean, it certainly takes dedication. It's, I guess it's just more of a lifestyle kind of thing than, not to, like, take away from other genres. But, I mean, there's also huge Bruce Springsteen fans, like Kevin's brother, who just go and see him all the time. And they are diehard fans, but, they'll express it differently. But, I think with just the angst in the music and the fact that it is heavy and kids will mosh and stuff like that, it's that's just the way that comes out, I guess. And it's a good thing. I mean, you don't see that anywhere else as much in terms of, like, just diehard fans that are, some of the most loyal you can come across. And I mean, I think it's a great thing, obviously. But I don't know why exactly it is, but for some reason it sucks some people in, and they can connect to it, and they just feel for it, I guess.
Absolutely. And what about for you personally? I mean, was there, like, a particular show or a band that you saw when you were a kid and you just said, hey, this is what I want to be a part of,
I mean, even before, like, I would go to shows when I was just listening to music and, my dad's huge old record collection and stuff, I've always was like, it always captured my imagination. So, and then, finally seeing shows and being like, oh, wait, it's a thing that is possible and you can just do it. And that was what was really exciting. I'm not sure if it's like a specific thing that tipped it off necessarily. Obviously, when I went to go see, like, my first hardcore show, I was like, oh shit, I just became more in reach of a dream or whatever. So I don't know, it's nice to, I guess, think about that growing up and then finally getting a chance to do it.
It's just something that I'm interested in, I mean, it's something that we kind of talk about here. Part of my show is, about what makes metal not just a musical genre, but a community. You know what I mean? It's like people, like you said, people find something into it and they hang on to it, and it makes you feel like you're different and you're proud of that.
Well, that's the thing, is like it's an underground thing, so most people don't know about it or care. But that's what makes it so special, is that it's a select group of people, and fuck everybody else that's not into it, and it's I don't know, it's a lifestyle. I mean, I feel like as soon as I started listening to heavy music, that's all I did for most of my childhood and teenage years, and I was just completely sucked in.
Awesome. Good stuff. So now you guys are on Prosthetic, which is one of my favorite labels out there. You want to talk a little bit about the label, the other bands on the label? I mean, that's kind of one of the more exciting labels I see out there right now, just because of the quality of bands that are putting out music. How do you feel about that?
It's a very interesting mix of bands that are all not necessarily the same, and I guess exploring different parts of metal more than you see in other labels.
Cool stuff.
I guess I don't know. All the Remains on that label, they were awesome. They're good friends of ours and from the same area. It's just it's good. They're doing a good thing for the metal community by having just a wide variety of different sounding metal bands.
Great. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a cool label. I mean, I try to check out just about everything that they release, and haven't really been disappointed too much, But you mentioned hardcore earlier. I don't know if this is going to apply or not. We're actually going to be doing a feature show in a couple of months on. We like to every now and then I like to feature kind of a specific band. I kind of call it my Hall of Fame episode, where we feature one band that's kind of meant a lot to metal, and we're planning a show on Crowbar. Did you grow up listening to Crowbar at all?
Yeah. I mean, that was just some of the best shit around. It's fucking so heavy. There's another influence for the band as well. I remember listening to that when I was a little kid and just being like, fucking, what is this?
Right.
They're definitely one of my, top 5 favorite metal bands of all time. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what was it? Can you just maybe talk for a minute? Describe that first time that you heard Crowbar. That sludgy guitar riff and the vocals.
Yeah, I heard Sonic Excess. I still have the old CD from it. And I just didn't even know what to think at that time. I was just like, this is just the craziest shit that I've ever heard. And I just listened to it all the time. And it was, I mean, I was a Pantera fan before that, so that was same kind of idea in terms of southern metal kind of sounding. So I was already Pantera. I thought they were great, and then just hearing that, which was just even heavier and slower, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Cool. Well, I feel the same way you do, and like I said, we're going to be having a show. I'm trying to collect some quotes, and we're actually going to be sitting down with Kurt too. So, hopefully you'll check that podcast out.
Yeah, definitely. You'll have fun with that.
Yeah. So I don't want to take too much of your time. You want to just tell us what's next for the Acacia Strain? You guys said you're about a third of the way done with the tour now. What are you guys going to be doing once that wraps up?
We got about a week and a half off after this, and then we head up to Canada for the final Despised Icon shows. That's about a week. I think 6 dates up in Canada, and that's their last tour ever. So we are definitely honored to be a part of that and happy they asked us. So we have that, and then we have a Toys for Tots show, I believe, on December 19th that we're doing, a little benefit thing. And after that, we have pretty much most of the winter off. We're going to take some time and relax and not get into a horrible van accident from sliding around on the ice. And
Yeah.
we'll be hitting the States up again in February. And then back to Europe, and then back to Europe again, and then doing a big run in the summer in the States. So,
and fans will be able to catch those dates on your website eventually?
yeah, we'll have all that stuff up once it's announced and ready to go, but we're going to be real busy this next year. We'll be all over the place, so people can definitely come out and find us in at their local venue.
Awesome. Well, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I think I can say that it won't be, a disappointment at all. Last question, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but, I was doing a little bit of research on your band, and it seems like just about every other website or every other search that I come up with when I type in the Acacia Strain has some relation to a feud that you might have with Emer. Is that correct?
There's no feud. Everything's all good.
Okay. What is that all about? Because, I hadn't heard anything about that.
I'm not even sure, honestly.
Okay.
It's like it was just kids talking and
I
stuff,
see. Okay.
and but we don't really comment on that, and there's really nothing that's an issue.
Well, that's cool. I just want,
Yeah.
it intrigued my curiosity, but that's good to know. But
Fair
listen, man, I want to thank you for hanging out for a little bit and for talking. And
thanks for having me.
Good luck with the band, and good luck with this tour. And we're definitely going to try and check you out when you guys come come through the States in your 2011 tour.
Great, man. Hopefully see you then.